On this channel, we provide useful programming information with practical code examples. This time, it's about closures in JavaScript. It explains the details of closures as well as multiple use cases, such as event handlers, with accompanying code examples. Enabling subtitles will make the code descriptions easier to understand. In JavaScript, a closure is one of the very important and powerful concepts. By understanding closures, you can gain knowledge that is useful in many situations, such as the behavior and scope of functions, as well as JavaScript's asynchronous processing and event handling. Here, we will explain in detail everything from the basic definition of closures to concrete examples and their applications. A closure refers to the mechanism by which a function can access variables in its creation scope even when called outside that scope. By utilizing closures, it becomes possible for functions to continually remember external variables. Closures consist of the following two elements. Function definition, the function itself. Scope in which the function is defined, variables and other functions outside the function itself. In JavaScript, closures are possible because functions have the capability to access variables within the scope they were created in. First, let's look at a basic example of a closure. In the following code, outer function returns a function called inner function. The important point is that inner function can access the variable count defined within the scope of outer function. As seen in the above example, count is retained by inner function, even after outer function has been executed. Inner function can continue to access the scope of outer function, and thus, count is updated within inner function. This is the basic mechanism of a closure. It is inner function that is assigned to the counter variable, and we can see that the state of count is preserved even though outer function has already completed execution. This is because JavaScript continually remembers the scope at the time of function definition. Closures can be used like private variables in object-oriented programming. Normally, in JavaScript, object properties are directly accessible from outside, but by using closures, it is possible to prevent direct manipulation of variables within the function scope from outside. In the next example, the createCounter function uses a closure to create a counter and returns a counter with a private variable, count. In this example, count is within the scope of the createCounter function, so it cannot be accessed directly from outside. However, it can be manipulated through the increment and decrement methods. In this way, by using closures, you can incorporate the concept of private variables in JavaScript. Closures are often used in combination with callback functions to manage asynchronous processing. For example, let's consider an example using a timer. In this example, the countdown function accesses the time left variable within the scope of startTimer. In this way, closures are very useful for asynchronous processing like timers, as they maintain the state of variables over time. Closures are also convenient when setting up event handlers. In the following example, a closure is used to record the number of times a button is clicked. In this case, the click count increases with each click, and its value is retained. By using closures, you can assign an independent counter to each button. Closures are a concept that symbolizes the flexibility and power of JavaScript. They hold variables enclosed within a function scope and allow operations on those variables through externally accessible functions. By understanding and utilizing this mechanism, you can acquire more advanced techniques in JavaScript coding. Closures are applied in various situations, from event handling and asynchronous processing to even pseudo-implementations of object-oriented programming. The source code for this video can be downloaded from the official website. If you like, please visit the URL in the description to aid your learning. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the content of this channel, please consider subscribing.